I'm breaking up with my boyfriend of 7 years. Plus update. 5F have been dating my BF27M for 7 years and I'm about to end it because of a stupid question he asked me. Like 2 days ago we were chilling at his place and out of nowhere he asked me if I could ever raise someone else's child. I was confused since I'm child-free and so is he, so I said that he knows I don't even want kids of my own. He clarified that he means if I'd ever raise and accept a kid that my partner would have in an affair. Honestly, I was speechless. I don't even know what I was feeling in that moment. Anger? Confusion? I think I stayed there in silence for a few minutes before he tried to justify and say that the hypothetical child is not at fault in this situation. At that point I was starting to get angry and asked him if he's trying to tell me something. He got mad at me and asked me how I could even assume he'd do something like this and that it was just an innocent question. I started to feel like throwing up, so I just left his place. I haven't left my place since then. He has tried to reach out and I assume told our mutual friends about what happened because some of them too have been reaching out and telling me to hear him out. I haven't replied to anyone. I just feel so drained and mad. He went from again trying to say that the child is innocent to saying he's sorry to telling me I'm overreacting and so on. I don't think I've calmed yet entirely and maybe I will regret this when I will get back to my senses, but I decided to break up with him. I don't think I can ever fully trust him after this, even if this question was indeed innocent. He knows my family's history with cheating. He knows I lost my grandpa because he made some bad decisions after his wife cheated on him. He knows my grandma has been abused her entire life by a cheating man. He knows all of this, so I don't understand why he'd think it was okay to ask me this. Even if I am in fact overreacting, this question planted some ugly thoughts into my mind that I don't think I can get rid of. I'm gonna throw down the drain a 7-year-old pretty much perfect relationship because of a stupid question. Now for the updates. Update 1. Yes, I get it. I definitely need to work on my issues and on my temperament, but cheating is and will always be a touchy subject for me and he knew how it triggered me, which is why I had that reaction. I'm not trying to excuse it, but I'm just explaining why. Some of you said my reaction was over the top and I should listen to him first, and you were right. I admit I might have jumped too fast to that conclusion and I should probably work on that. I decided to meet him and talk. We did, and at first he denied that he ever did anything and said he just randomly thought of that question, but in the end he admitted that he did cheat on me. He swore that it was just a mistake and it only happened once, but the woman he cheated on me with got pregnant and didn't want to get an abortion. He said that he didn't want to lose me because of a mistake and that he loves me more than anything, but confessed that he too wishes to raise that kid and was hoping he could do it with me because being in a relationship with me feels so natural and comfortable to him and he can't imagine raising a child with someone else. He confessed to his friends and they told him he should. I tried to warm me up to the idea, and since he knew that the biggest reason why I'm child-free is my fear of being pregnant, he figured that I might agree to it because someone else was delivering the baby. He told me that he was always hoping I'd change my mind and that while he still regrets what he did, we should view it as an opportunity. At that point I was close to losing it and I almost started screaming at him. I know I should probably work on that too, and I asked him why he thought I'd agree with this when he knows about what happened to my grandpa and grandma because of their cheating spouses, and he said that this is completely different. After that I honestly couldn't listen to him anymore, so once again I just left. I blocked all of our supposedly mutual friends who kept defending him, and I also blocked him. I'm devastated that our relationship is ending like this, but he did the one thing that he knew would hurt me the most, and I can't see myself ever forgiving him or accepting his child, even though he is right that the child is innocent. Maybe some of you were right when you said that he dodged a bullet because I would have been a terrible stepmom probably. Update 2. Some people asked for an update, so I guess here it is. First of all, thank you to everyone who sent me their supportive words. It really meant a lot and helped me as well. Like I said in my original post, I broke up with him. After that I blocked him and his friends, so he tried reaching out to my friends and he also came by my place 3 times and tried to get me to listen to him. I didn't open the door and just ignored him. After the 3rd time my best friend and her BF asked me if I'd like to live with them for a while, so maybe he'll stop bothering me. It worked. I also told my parents what happened and they were heartbroken since our families have been friends since before both of us were born and they considered him part of our family, but they support and understand my decision 100%. They also talked to his parents and found out that he lied to them and told them that I wanted to take a break from our relationship because I'm losing feelings for him and I want to explore my sexuality. I'm openly bisexual, but that is not true and I've never even once told him something like this. My parents told them the truth and they reached out and apologized for what he did and told me that they support me as well. Also, one of the friends that suggested he tries to warm me up to the idea messaged a friend of mine and he basically said that he knows he screwed up and that he's terribly sorry for suggesting that in the first place and for being a bad friend to me. I told my friend to just ignore him. I guess it's nice that he acknowledged his mistake, but I just don't feel like dealing with any of them anytime soon. Honestly, I'm trying to tell myself that he's not worth it, but it still hurts and it feels awful. I thought we were both happy together and that I was enough for him, but I guess not. So yeah, that's about it. I'm slowly getting better and I have a lot of wonderful and supportive people around me, which helps a lot. I'll stay away from relationships for a while and just focus on myself. I will also try therapy like some of you kindly or not so kindly suggested. Thank you again to the kind strangers who were being supportive. I haven't replied to anyone, but I've read them. Thank you for listening to me and apologizes if there are any mistakes, as English is not my first language. Last update. Hello again. Some people have asked for a few more updates and I'll also answer some frequently asked questions. First of all, as some people suggested, I got tested for STDs and I'm clean, thankfully. Second of all, I saw some people being mean to my ex's AP, but I'd like to ask you all to not think badly of her. She reached out to me because she wanted to apologize and tell me her side of the story. I agreed to meet her and she told me what happened. Basically, she and my ex met a few months ago in a club. He was there having a bachelor party thrown for one of his friends. They met there and started talking. He told her he was single and they hooked up. After that they remained in contact and occasionally hooked up. She showed me proof, their texts, and he had been lying to her about being single and not wanting a serious relationship. She enjoyed the thing they had going on and didn't want a relationship either, so they remained fuck buddies, I guess. They met around 7 months ago and around a month ago she found out she was pregnant. She told him that she wants to keep it and that if he doesn't want to be in the kid's life she's okay with it, but she's keeping it. He insisted on being in the kid's life but came clean about being in a relationship with me. From then on she told him that he needs to tell me the truth or she will tell me herself. So yeah, that's the backstory. She was really sweet and apologetic and I really wish her and the baby nothing but the best. Hopefully the baby will take after their mother only. Now on to the questions. Why aren't we married after 7 years of dating? I already mentioned in a comment that I do not want to get married. I don't see the point in it, tbh. I talked to him about this and he told me he is fine with it as he doesn't see the point in marriage either. Why don't we live together? We live in 2 separate places. Basically my place is really close to my job. The job that I have requires me to sometimes go there out of nowhere, but it pays really well. He is currently studying. I'm not sure what's called in English, but he's doing the studies you do after getting your master's degree, and his place is really close to his university. Neither of us were willing to give up on this advantage we had, so we decided to talk again about moving in together after he finishes his studies. One particular person has been quite nasty and said that no wonder he cheated on me because I basically trapped him with false hope that one day we'd have a happy family. I'd like to say that I've always been open about my wishes regarding my future. He knew me and what I wanted as we've been friends before dating since our families are close. He told me for years that he is more than okay with what I want. I thought we were very open to each other. I've always voiced my complaints, wants, needs, and I've always encouraged him to do the same and vice versa. Like I already said, I thought our relationship was perfect. This might sound cold and bitchy to some people, but even if I loved him, if I knew our views don't align, I wouldn't have committed to a 7-year-old relationship with him. I still haven't replied back to him or his friends yet, and I don't think I will. His parents are still very apologetic to me and it kind of makes me feel bad since it's not their fault. They're extremely mad at him and stopped supporting him financially. I've moved back in my place 2 days ago and he thankfully stopped trying to reach out to me. I'm still not over it completely as I've spent the last 7 years of my life loving him, but having a relationship, any kind of relationship with him again is out of question. That's about it, I suppose. This will probably be the last thing I post regarding this situation. Thank you for listening to me rant, and thank you once again for the people giving me advice and being supportive. Story 2. Updated. My husband's open marriage suggestion backfired on him. My husband, Leo, 34M, and I, 30F, have been together for 7 years, married for 4 of them. We don't have any kids and we don't intend to. 2 years ago Leo asked me for an open marriage. I was devastated at the time. I couldn't understand why he didn't just want me. I couldn't even comprehend the idea of sharing him either. He gave me the same song and dance a lot of men give their spouses, swore up and down that he loved me. I just wasn't fulfilling his needs. He needed more than what I could give. It was just to spice up our life. It was just screw, etc. etc. I did ask if there was someone else. He said no. To this day, I'm still not sure if I believed him. But at the time, I was angry and hurt and said no. He pestered me to change my mind for a week before giving me an ultimatum. Open marriage or divorce. I chose the open marriage. I just couldn't bear the thought of him leaving me at the time. We have rules. We can't bring any partners home. We have to get tested for STD every 3 months. 1 weekend out of the month must be left free for us time. Any money we spend on with our partners must come from our personal accounts. I didn't partake in the open marriage myself for the first 3 months. Leo obviously did right away. He seemed to be gone or out late almost all the time, but he always acted so happy and loving towards me while I felt like I was dying inside. It killed me to think he was sleeping with other women. And I felt so lonely and unattractive and not good enough. I told my sister, Katie, 26F, and a few close friends everything. Katie told me to just play his game and be part of the open marriage too. If he can sleep around, so could I. I honestly didn't have much confidence in myself at the time. I'm a bit overweight and I've never considered myself conventionally pretty. I was afraid this would just humiliate me further. Katie and my best friend Jessie, 30F, set up my online dating profiles for me. I got so many matches that it was overwhelming. When I told Leo, he was surprised, but told me to do whatever I thought was best. Jessie helped me choose my first date, and I actually had a great time. He didn't pressure me for sex and took me out to drinks and dinner. We did have sex eventually, but it was all just casual and we didn't see each other after a couple months of casual dating. That first guy really made me feel more confident in myself. So I kept going on dates with men. A lot of them wanted to treat me, so I didn't have to spend much of my own money. Not only that, but some of the men have given me the best sex I've ever had in my life. Almost like the kind of sex you read in romance novels. It's been amazing. I am currently seeing 2 different men, alongside Leo. One, Mark, 38M, is more of a steady boyfriend I've been with for about 6 months, and the one, Steven, 25M, is very casual, mostly just hanging out and sex. They know about my open marriage, other relationships, and are fine with it. My husband has not been so lucky. In the beginning, he definitely was. He was always out and about and didn't seem to care even when I started dating too, but now he just complains a lot and hasn't been going out much. He whines about how he's usually the one spending money. A lot of the women he tries to be with want an emotional connection before sex. He often wants to be with younger women, but they want younger men. He's also been upset that I go out with random guys so often while he's at home alone all the time. He hasn't asked to close the marriage yet, but I feel like he will soon. He keeps saying he misses us and wants to spend more time together. He tried to initiate sex a lot more too. He wants to go on dates and go on vacations and all that stuff more and more, and he gets upset when I tell him I can't because I've already scheduled to do stuff with my partners, mostly Mark. Honestly, I don't think I love Leo anymore. I care about him, but I just don't love him. I'm not saying I love Mark or Steven, but I honestly feel closer to Mark nowadays than I do Leo. Mark makes me feel comfortable and safe, and I love spending time with him more than my own husband. Steven is funny and sweet and really good at screw. Katie and Jessie have been wanting me to divorce for a year now, but I was afraid of hurting him and thought I still loved him. But I think my love for him died when he asked for this open marriage in the first place. Seeing him get all pissy about it now just because he's not benefiting from it is also a turnoff for me too. But I don't know if divorce is the best option. I still care about him and I still don't want to hurt him. Maybe if he finally asks to close the marriage, we can talk about it then. Now for the updates. Update 1. Hi everyone. I got so many comments and messages on my last post, which got deleted for some reason, that I was a bit overwhelmed. Especially when a lot of you kept saying the same thing, divorce, divorce, divorce. But the thing is, I think a part of me does still loves my husband. I know in my last post that I didn't think I loved him anymore, but I can't just forget about the things that I do love. I love when he sings in the shower. I love when he laughs so hard he snorts. I love when he kisses my forehead when I've had a bad day. I love when he holds my hand when we watch TV together. Leo has done a lot of shitty things, but he really isn't the big asshole people think. Maybe that was my fault. But even if I do still love him, I'm not in love with him anymore. I don't think I have been for a while. I care about him, a part of me does still love him, but you all were right. I should have just divorced him when he gave me that ultimatum in the first place. This past Saturday, we had the big talk. I initiated it, but he didn't seem too surprised. I just told him that I noticed he didn't seem to like me going out with Mark or Steven and asked if there was a problem. He said there was. But he didn't ask me to close the marriage. He just asked me if I still loved him. I said something like, not like I used to. He broke down crying, which made me cry. I guess he had known for a while that I wasn't in love anymore, but he had hoped he could win me back if he funneled all of his energy into me. I was honest and told him that during those first 3 months of our open marriage, I think my love for him died and I just couldn't get it back. I did tell him that I still cared about him and that I did love him, but it's not the same as it was. He asked if I loved Mark or Steven, and I said no. I like being with them and I care about them a lot, but I can't say I'm in love with either of them. I also finally asked him why he wanted the open marriage in the first place. A lot of you in the comments said he already had someone lined up, and you were right. He had someone at work he was interested in and she wanted him too. The open marriage was just to get permission. He honestly never expected me to also get my own partners because of how unconfident I was, but he didn't want to stop me either because he thought nothing would come of it. He didn't really like me seeing other men, but he knew it wouldn't have been fair to tell me no when I gave him permission first. I guess Mark and Steven made him insecure because I was spending so much time with them on a regular basis. The open marriage was just sex on the side for him. He only did hookups and they never lasted long. He genuinely always just loved only me. But he thought I was falling in love with my partners and he was losing me and wanted to win me back. We cried a lot and talked a lot. We've decided to get a divorce. Since the house is in his name, I'm going to move out and live with Katie for a while. He told me I didn't have to and I could stay until the divorce was finalized, but I just can't. It's too hard to even look at him sometimes. I don't know how I feel, to be honest. I thought I would be relieved or sad, but I'm just tired. I wish I could have been like you all wanted me to be, clapping back or being sarcastic and snarky or rubbing it in his face, but I don't feel like I've won anything. I just feel lost. Update 2. Hey, it's been a while. It feels like both lot and nothing has happened. I still have a lot of feelings, but I'm also just really tired. Leo and I are still in the middle of our divorce. It's been as amicable as a divorce can be. Since we mutually agreed to it and we had prenup, it's been pretty easy splitting everything else 50-50ths. My lawyer says I should be divorced by the end of the year. Leo is insistent on giving me alimony, but I'm not really interested. Thanks to a lot of people making me think about Leo's explanation for the open marriage, I did approach him about it again and asked him to be 100% honest with me about that girl from work. He admitted there was more to it than he admitted. This is what he explained to me, and I have decided to believe him. Even if he's lying, it doesn't really matter anymore since we're getting divorced. I also just have little energy to care about the details at this point. According to him, this is the timeline. He was posting on Reddit about his kinks for advice and such, which I did know about beforehand. He was getting messages from this one user and they just kept talking back and forth. He mentions my name to the user in a conversation, which he let me read. Asterisk. During his lunch break, his coworker, I'll call her Mary, approaches him and asks if he uses Reddit and asks about his handle. Asterisk. He confirms, and then Mary tells her he's the user he's been talking to. They start talking more and more in real life as friends and eventually start talking through IG. He also showed me these conversations. Asterisk. The conversations were mostly just memes and jokes with occasional flirts, mentioning of kinks. At one point, she says it's too bad he's not single. Asterisk. This is when he decided to demand the open marriage, because Mary was clearly into him and into the same kinks, and she could sexually satisfy him since I was unable to. That's how he basically said it anyway. Truth be told, we did have some bed difficulties before the open marriage was brought up. I'm very vanilla, and he discovered his kinks after we were married. I tried them all for him, but I just couldn't get into it and he didn't like seeing me struggle, so he didn't try to bring them into the bedroom again after it was obvious I didn't like it. So we did have sexual compatibility issues. Maybe we were doomed to fail even without the open marriage ultimatum. Our families, outside of my sister, were shocked when we told everyone we were getting a divorce. They always thought we were so happy and in love. My mom blames me, which I expected, but it still hurts. They don't know about the open marriage, and Leo and I plan to keep it that way. I think he is ashamed to tell them. I am too if I'm being honest. I really thought Leo was the love on my life. He was my first for almost everything. I said we were together for 7 years, but we were friends since college. I've known him for nearly 12 years, and we're about to become strangers soon. I still mourn my marriage, even though Katie and Jesse keep telling me this is for the best. They're both definitely thrilled. They don't hide it, but they also know this has been a weird time for me. I just don't know how to feel. I thought I would feel free or relieved or heartbroken or something, but I just feel weird. Like I lost a part of myself and I don't know how to get it back. I'm still living with Katie, but I'll be moving out soon. I found a 1-bedroom apartment that's near Jesse, so I won't be completely alone. Mark offered to let me move in with him, but I declined. Honestly, we're kind of on standby. He knows I'm having a hard time processing my feelings about my husband and the end of my marriage. I think he wants us to be official, but I don't know. I really do like Mark and I don't want to lose him, But I feel like I need to figure myself out first. As for Steven, we ended our relationship at the beginning of August. He got a job offer in another state and took it. Even though it was casual, I did cry a little. Steven is a great guy. Whenever he does decide to settle down into something serious, the woman who gets him will be a lucky one. We've been texting here and there, but it's mostly just sending each other TikTok and polite, "Hope you're doing well" messages. Some people asked me if I wanted to go back to monogamy, even after experimenting and clearly getting into this poly relationship I had going on. And the answer is yes, I do. Even though Mark and Steven were great and I met plenty of great guys during my open marriage, I don't know if I've really been happy with myself or my choices. I also think I felt guilty a lot too, like I was somehow cheating on Leo, Mark and Steven even though it was all consensual. Polyamory and open relationships may work for some people, but it's really just not for me. Jesse says I need to get a therapist. I have tried looking, but finding a therapist that's both available and seems like a good fit is a pain. Hopefully I can find one by the time the divorce is settled. I also want to figure out what to do about Mark on my own. I don't want to lead him on and give him false hope. Maybe we should take a break, or maybe I should tell him to just break up with me. He should find his own happiness without worrying about me.